We're joined from Geneva now by Christina Adam from the International Organization for Migration. There has been some degree of mystery surrounding some of the circumstances of those deaths. So clear up for us that the exact provisions, what they are within international law, which would guarantee the safety of ships that get into distress.
Yes, hello, Stephen. Well, the situation is pretty clear under international law. There is a duty on the shipmasters to rescue persons found at distress at sea. This has been established in international conventions, such as namely the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea. But by now, it also has become customary law, which means that also parties even those parties and states that wouldn't have signed these United Nations conventions are still bound by the duty to render rescue at sea to persons found in danger.
Well, the theory, I suppose, what we are saying basically under the line, Christina, is that some ships deliberately ignored these vessels in distress. Is that likely?
Well, it's difficult to comment on those individual cases that I don't have sufficient information on to comment on. But as I said already, the duty to rescue at sea is really clear under international law, and it also corresponds to a long maritime tradition. The situation often becomes more difficult after the actual rescue has happened, so the question is where to disembark those persons. And there it has to be said that the international law is not that clear. It is not clear whether those persons need to be brought to, for example, the next port of call, or whether they need to be brought to the flag state. That means that the flag state is the state under whose flag the ship is running. So that is not totally defined under international law.
In short, what you're saying is it's unclear who is responsible for a migrant once he comes off the sea in port.
Well, once he is on a port, it is naturally the state that is where the port's territory is. And also, I just would like to add on what I just said. I mean, it is not. While there is no clear description on where those people have to be brought under the international law, there's nevertheless a lot of hints under the international law what needs to be done. So it is clear that ships that rescue people at sea have to bring them to a place where they're safe. They have to bring those persons to a place where they get food, shelter, medical care if they need to. It is also clear that they must be brought to a place where they are safe, meaning that they cannot be brought to a country where they're at the risk of persecution, for example. So that are already indications where to bring those people. And once they are on the territory of a state, the state has to take care for these persons under its national laws, but also obviously meeting its human rights obligations.
Christina, finally, is there any legal obligation on I suppose, organisations like NATO or coast guards on preventing unseaworthy ships or boats from leaving ports? Because increasingly it seems that some of these boats that are setting off carrying the refugees, large numbers of refugees, are just not seaworthy.
Well, actually, that's exactly the point, Stephen, because the point here is it is a human tragedy. And we, as you rightly pointed out before, we have seen increasing numbers of migrants undertaking this really dangerous trip by sea. They go on unseaworthy boats, they go on boats with too many persons on, and finally, I mean, they are in the hands of smugglers. Again, what we can say, there is an obligation under international law is for all concerned states for a better cooperation in order to make sure that these situations are prevented as much as possible, and that if situations happen where people find themselves in a situation that they cannot see any other solution than escaping on an unseaworthy boat to Europe, in that situation, it must be ensured that states meet their obligations under international law and that the human rights of migrants are safeguarded.